American heavy metal band Metallica has been rocking out for almost 40 years and still giving us stuff to headbang to. Over on my Twitter, link in the description, I gave you guys my score for every Metallica song on every Metallica album. Except these ones that I just didn't wanna. And just like with Queen, I also originally wanted to do a whole video discussing every Metallica song. But then my brain was like, you're gonna sit on the bed and not do this, you're gonna get to it later. It's gonna be fine. And then it ended up not fine. So today I'm gonna be doing a deep dive through the discography of Metallica to give you my favorite and least favorite songs from every Metallica album. Disclaimer, if you disagree with my opinions, that's completely okay. There's songs, you can listen to whatever you want. Please don't get into arguments with strangers about this. Metallica's debut album, 1983's Kill 'Em All. As opposed to the glam rock and hair metal stuff at the time, this album is just in-your-face thrash metal! Favorite track from this one is The Four Horsemen. Yes, I am very much aware that this is Dave Mustaine's riff, and I don't care, it's one of Metallica's best. And yes, at the speed of that song. And I think the Sweet Home Alabama part is still good, which was Cliff's idea, by the way. Least favorite track, I guess, Phantom Lord. This song, with its slower bits, kind of slows down the whole energy of the album. It's still pretty good though. Fight fire with fire, Metallica would be terrible firefighters. 1984's Ride the Lightning. It's the album with the little chair on it. And I thought that chair was a microphone for a good while. Favorite track, For Whom the Bell Tolls. That, I guess, main riff to this song, the little da-da-na-no, 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 no, no. That's like one of my favorite Metallica riffs. And I really like the lyrics to this one too. Also, of course, bass intro! Probably the best bass intro of all time. From the one-of-a-kind Cliff Burton. Least favorite track, Trapped Under Ice. Parts of this song just kind of seemed lame to me, especially the lyrics. I do really like the bridge though. Master! Master!
What? What do you want?
Often regarded as one of the best metal albums of all time, Master of Puppets from 1986. Also known as Ride the Lightning 2 The Mastering. Favorite track? Master of Puppets. One of the greatest and most iconic metal riffs ever. Mixed with interesting lyrics about control and manipulation. It's one of the greats. Least favorite? Damage Inc. Cliff, I know the intro to this song is your bass, but I think it goes on a little too long. I'm sorry! And other than James sounding rushed singing the lyrics, that's about all my problems with it, because it's still a good song. Did you know that the word one is only mentioned once on the song One? 1988's And Justice for All. Somehow I keep thinking that it was from 89. Cliff Burton had died in a tragic bus accident in the tour for Master of Puppets, to which Jason Newsted filled the spot of bassist next. And the other members very much didn't want you to know that, since the bass is turned down almost all the way. My favorite track is One. This song kind of broke them into the mainstream, and I can definitely see why. The calm and almost soothing first half, leading into these loud, heavy thrash riffs, it's incredible. And probably Kirk Hammett's fastest solo. Least favorite track? I don't see what people get about Dyer's Eve. Like, there are these people begging for Dyer's Eve to be played live, and I just don't really get it. I guess it just doesn't really seem that interesting to me. So what exactly is Through the Never? I'm very interested in finding out. 1991 self-titled Black Album. Now, I personally have been listening to this album since I was in preschool. Like, my dad would be playing like the first 4 or 5 songs from it on our way to and from preschool. So through preschool and most of my elementary school years, the first 5 tracks on this album were just called the first song, the second song, the third song, the fourth song. And my favorite is that 4th song, The Unforgiven. That was my favorite back when I was listening to it in preschool, and it's still my favorite now. I really liked what they did with this one. Instead of having a ballad with a soft verse and then a heavy chorus, they decided to do a heavy verse with a calmer chorus. I also personally think it's one of James's best vocal performances. Pretty sweet. Least favorite, The Struggle Within, I guess. The more I listen to this song, the more that I think that it was supposed to be the album opener. Like, listen to the first 4 album openers and then listen to The Struggle Within. The intro gets you pumped up for the rest of the album, leading into a non-stop thrashy tune. And it just kind of felt awkward at the end of the album. The intro to this one is great though. 2x4. Oh, I know this one. It's 8. 1996. Load. Metallica were trying to go on a more hard rock style with this and the next album. Favorite track, King Nothing. Also known as Enter Sandman 2, because it's basically the same composition. However, on most days, I do actually like the main riff to King Nothing more than I do to Enter Sandman. The main riff really drives this song for me. Least favorite, Bleeding Me. This one was just okay for like the first half. And then they give us a pretty good stopping point for the song at around 4:48. Nice fading out. And then it just keeps going for another 4 minutes. I'm just like, oh, wait a second, I thought we were done. Pretty wacko. Get it? I did the thing that James did in that one song. Laugh! 1997 Load Part 2. Reload, I mean. Think Load, but just a tiny bit better. Favorite track is, of course, Fuel. I mean, who wouldn't like, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Kind of one of the closest things to a thrashy song on one of these albums. Least favorite? Carpe Diem, Baby. Don't really have much to say. This song is just there, and it's weird. Just like a lot of stuff on Load and Reload. It's there and it's weird. The main riff is pretty okay though.
Get it?
Oh, the wonderful Saint Anger from 2003. Metallica was in a really dark time in their career at this point. Jason Newsted had left the band and there were growing tensions between each of the other members. And they channeled all their anger into this, an album that makes you angry. So for my favorite track, I want to say Saint Anger, because 1, I really like the main riff, and 2, if they had just shortened it up, given it better production, just like the rest of the album, Saint Anger probably would have been a really good Metallica song. But the song we got on the album is not that. And it's not my favorite overall. Overall, though, my favorite from this album is The Unnamed Feeling. Because it's the most bearable. Although the been here before does get really annoying. But there's less snare pounding in this song, so that's at least a plus. As opposed to my least favorite from this album and my least favorite Metallica song, Invisible Kid, where they took the already terrible sounding production and somehow made it sound worse. Snare pounding, muddy guitar and bass for 8.5 minutes. I don't know, maybe I'd like all these songs more if I watched Some Kind of Monster, but I most likely won't.
Bow, bow, bow. Bow, wow, wow. Bow, now, now. Now, now, now. Bow, wow, wow.
2008's Death Magnetic. Now, Saint Anger already sounded like awkward phase, but Death Magnetic kind of sounded like the awkward phase between Saint Anger and Hardwired. And it's also pretty forgettable to me. Like, I don't remember anything from Suicide and Redemption. Favorite track, The Unforgiven 3. Probably because I remember all of that. It's the same kind of style as the original Unforgiven, which I like. Also the intro, even though it is kind of a weird moment in Metallica history, I think is really nice to listen to. Least favorite, The Judas Kiss. First of all, that gets on my nerves. The composition to this one kind of just felt awkward to me in general, with also top-notch lyrics such as Where Go I and You Don't Exist. Neato one, James. So apparently in some places, leaders actually eat fish and spit out the bones. 2016's Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I'm gonna be completely honest, I like this album a lot more than most people do. Mainly because when it was coming out, my dad sent me some of the songs and I was like, hey, that's that band that I listened to in the car to preschool. And it basically just got me into listening to more Metallica songs. Favorite track is Confusion. I really enjoyed the lyrics to this one, talking about PTSD and suffering soldiers through war. And I know the intro to the song is Am I Evil? Okay, shut up. I love that song too. Also, the main riff is one of the best main riffs that Metallica has given us since like the Black Album. Least favorite, I can't really choose between Am I Savage and Murder 1. They're both just kinda awkward to me. Seemed like they were trying to lean more towards their load and reload sound as opposed to trying to go back to their thrash origins, just like most of the rest of the album. And that's the last album I'm going to be talking about. Some of my least favorites are kinda just songs I liked the least instead of like disliked the most, because most of them are pretty good songs, not you. And with that being said, I'm just going to annoy you guys so that you leave. Are they gone yet?